light. Go, go, go.
Welcome to tracc.eu GT Open Cup. We are here for round 4 at Catalonia, which is in Spain. And currently we're just watching and this grip corner is Aston Martin. Good field today with 14 people. We've got some IGC regulars like DJ Overdrive, like SAS, Panic Fungus, iMentrix, Muzaki, I think that's how you pronounce it. Adrian Dubrovka. So some familiar faces for IBGC regulars, perhaps as well. Towers the 14th. We've got a good mix of cars. We've got a 911, we've got a Bentley, or 911, two Astons, an NSX, two Ferraris, Audi, two BMWs, a Lamborghini, and a Lexus. All drivers are on their flying lap or are coming to finishing their first lap. Set the first lap, which is PB for the moment, is a 156.0055, which is a second and a half faster than Ryuzaki. We're at 10 minutes of qualifying in the rain. We're at 23 degrees Celsius, in fact, we're at 27 degrees Celsius. Cars. We have Chamchoa, who's just lost it seems. About the last section. Like I said, P3, about 2 seconds behind Mark K. Albert Gurioff at a 12.4. So hopefully the NSX, I hear it is quite a struggle to tame, but hopefully Albert Gurioff can wrestle his way up to a good position today. Metrics on his flying lap. I think he's followed by a panic fungus. Both German drivers next to each other. I think there might, I'm not sure if there was contact there, but both look to be alright. Maybe just a small scrape, but it should be alright. Sensei off at the last corner. Let's see what's happened there. A bit too far out. Just catching the car on the outside curb and just going off into the gravel. I'm in the sand, my apologies. Mark came still the fastest lap, but still with his 156. Miyazaki. And like I said, it's both of their lap times down, both within a second of Mark Kane's time, but still I was gonna say it's off as well. I think he's just walked it up into the first corner. That's another walk up in turn one. SKP. Run about 3/10 quicker this lap. Halfway through his lap, can he improve and get closer to Mark Kane? The fight for perhaps P1, the pole. Wait. Mark Kane will run about 2/10 quicker up on his time. He's just going for the last few corners. That's his brother RJ came off in the Lamborghini Huracan. I think he just loses it. It was a little bit wide. He just spins it. That's a shame. Mark came now with the fastest lap of 155.7, which is very quick in these conditions. Let's see, will he hold on to pole? Out Gergi, about 1.3 seconds up on his time. Can he's now into third. Just a last minute attempt quicker than Casillas. We have DJ Overdrive versus Avenue B fighting into turn one in qualifying. Porsche versus Waxus. The Waxus keeps it on the track. The Waxus, I will say from personal experience, is a very magical car in the rain. With the right setup, this car can fly. What can DJ make it fly? Metrics on his flying lap, just coming up to the last few corners, last two. No problems whatsoever in the RD. Can he maintain his pace? He's about 6.6 seconds up on his time. Will he do it? Will he pass DJ Overdrive for that 10th position? 2.8 seconds off DJ's time for P10. Can he improve? That is Mark came off, I think. That or he's just slowed down. metrics off in the first corner, perhaps just overran it. It is a tricky braking spot, so it's understandable that a few people are getting cornered by turn 1. And Trump's on a flying lap as well in the Ferrari. An interesting car, I would say, for a Ferrari, a pink one. The Yandere Racing Ferrari 48. Small cluster cars run about the west sector. That's an off for number 41. Perhaps just caught up inside curve. But there's now 4 cars on the west sector. That's slightly into the pits. Casillas ever so slightly improving his time, but maybe enough to catch Mark Kane, Ryuzaki, or will he reclaim P3 from Albuquerque? For your, I guess I should start saying some facts about the track. This track was opened in 1991 and it has had around about 4 different configurations for the different racing series races around the circuit. My apologies if the volume for my microphone is a little low. I will try and fix it. Mark Kane is now down to 155.642, which is nearly a second quicker than Albert Gergen in P2. Can he improve? No, I think that must have been a dirty lap. But there is around about 2 minutes left of qualifying, which means he still has 1 chance, maybe 2 if he's lucky, for perhaps getting down to 155.5. We can say it's around about 600 as well. He's up by a 10th up into turn 2. Can he continue this pace? Perhaps notch off another 10 for 2 to get P3 from Ryuzaki, maybe. Adrian Dubrovka currently on a flying lap with a 4 tenths up on his personal best. Can he break into the 159s? Currently sitting at a 2 minutes. Nice 2 minutes. That is Chamchua off. Wonder what's happened there. Walks up the brakes into the first corner, which makes him a bit unsettled in turn 2, and just parks on the outside. Understandable. Adrian Dubrovka up 3 tenths. He's got Casillas right behind him on track. That was like maybe perhaps a dirty lap from Casillas. RG came stopping on the pit with the front straight, and that's Casillas off. Live on track, it's wet. Thank you. It is very wet. That's Agent Dubrovka 2 tenths up. Will he get past Flaky? No. That is a P9 star for Agent Dubrovka. Mark came up by a tenth on his personal best. Up 2 tenths now. Will he make it free? Hopefully. DJ Overdrive. Haven't said much about him, but in the Lexus he is, remember, 4 tenths up on his personal best. Entering the last sector. Can the Lexus driver make it stick? He is round about 6 tenths off Chamchilla's personal best, who is ahead of him on the starting grid. That Lexus is quick in a straight line, but can DJ get all the speed he can from that roaring V8? We'll just have to see. He's lost all the time he's gained, so sadly that'll be a P12 start from him. iMentrix still out on track, the last car out on track, besides Mark Kame. He is 4 tenths down, I think. Could be wrong. And it is Mark Kame with Albert Gergis on your starting grid for the front row. Ryuzaki and Casillas. If we can look now, and we'll see the starting grid. That is Mark Kame with Albert Gergi on the front row, Ryuzaki and Casillas for a BMW full second row. Got RJ Kame and SKP for the third row. We have Panic Fungus and Flaky on the fourth row. My third row, yes, I was correct. So apologies. We have Agent Dubrovka and Charles XIV on the fifth row. Chamchilla and DJ Overdrive on the sixth row. And we have on the last row, the seventh row, iMentrix and Avenue B. Could be a wet race, could be a dry race. The drivers are reporting that it could be either or. We'll just have to see. About 30 seconds till our drivers start their formation lap. Get some heat in the tires, perhaps heat in the brakes.
20 seconds.
So, will we have a wet race, or will we have a dry race? Or maybe we might even have a mixed race.
10 seconds.
Drivers are at the formation lap. Let's see what will happen into turn 1. Mark Kame on the inside, and that looks like Casillas has stopped. Wonder what's happened to him. We have Albert Gergi, Ryuzaki, Casillas. 4 very quick people. RJ Kame, who is related to Mark Kame. Both are brothers. Let's see where each sibling places in race 1. They have a slow formation lap, which is hopefully not going to take too long. Fungus and the Yandere Racing Ferrari. Hopefully he can maybe perhaps gain a few positions, as we see a Lamborghini ahead. We'll have the age-old rivalry of Ferrari versus Lamborghini during this race. Which Italian powerhouse will come out on top? You'll have to wait and see. We have a Bentley in the field, which I'm led to believe is Julian's favourite, who is sadly not with us today, but will be here with us next weekend for the IBGTC race. I bet you that Julian is secretly cheering on Adrian Dubrovka with his Bentley, so maybe Julian might be backing the right driver, who knows. Evan will be at the back of the pack with which kind of looks like a Gulf Racing Porsche. I'm not sure if the liveries have properly loaded, but currently that car looks like a Gulf Racing car. So drivers are lining up, both double file, quite tight part of the track. Who will get the best start off the rolling start? As everyone comes around the last corner. That is DJ Overdrive's dashing into the pits. Perhaps some pit strategies, which you don't have to pit.
Green light, go, go, go.
But we are green flags and we are away we go. As Mark came in the lead, but it looks like Albert Gergi has got a very good start on the art side. Will he hang around the art side or will he wait for DJ? Not DJ. Mark came to overtake. Looks like, oh, Casillas has took a nose up the inside and he's got by Albert Gergi, so that it is NSX versus BMW versus Lamborghini, because Lamborghini is not that far behind. Albert Gergi going on the grass and somehow getting by with the BMW. You have a yellow flag. Oh no, there's a big pile up. Wonder what's happened there. Chamcho is off. Flaky is lost a few positions. That is horrific. What has happened there? Oh no. Looks like Panic Fungus was also involved in that one. Mark came in the lead. And it looks like we have DJ Overdrive out on track. Bit behind, but 35 minutes. Remember, 33 minutes to go, but it is still plenty of time to pick up a few positions if he keeps it clean and quick. Mark came just coming round the last corner to complete the first lap of race 1 for round 4 of the Track Open GT Cup at Catalonia. Panic Fungus by Ryuzaki. It is interesting to see where the Ferrari will go. German versus American. Ferrari versus BMW. And there's both Ferraris are next to each other on track. Oh, that was like Charles the 14th went a little bit wide. He's like Ryuzaki is going for the art side. VTuber versus VTuber. BMW versus Ferrari. And looks like Charles the 14th lets him by. And Flaky is going on the art side of Charles the 14th as well, and he's got by. So it's BMW, Aston, Ferrari in that case. Chamcho looks like he's biting at the tailpipe of Tars the 14th. Tars the 14th must have had a very bad getaway, as he's all the way. He's lost 2 positions in the space of a few corners. Maybe some technical difficulties, perhaps something wrong with the car. Who knows? But we do know that that was like a dive up the inside by Chamcho, and he's made it stick. Can the Porsche outrun the Ferrari and make it stick? There's another Porsche. Tars the 14th is in a Porsche 911 sandwich. Can he defend himself from SKP? For the time being, yes. Looks like Mark Kane is finishing his second lap to lap DJ Overdrive, who is currently coming out of the pits with a stop-go 30. Perhaps speeding in the pit lane. And we also see that there is another driver who's joined the race, a bit late, Akito Asazagawa, in the number 56 Kaneko Racing Lexus RCF. A quick driver. I am glad to believe he is the Super VT champion from the race room era of tracc.eu. So will the tracc.eu veteran make his way up the field? He's currently in last, but that doesn't mean anything yet, as he is still half an hour left to go. Mark Kame has got a little bit of a gap to Albert Gergi, 2.2 seconds, and he is flying in the Aston. I think that's perhaps a British Racing Green Aston Martin, which is just keeping the Honda just a good bit away. RJ Kame, both brothers are currently on the podium as it stands. But who will come out on top? Mark or RJ? Looks like Adrian Dubrovka is having a go at Casillas. Bentley versus BMW, British versus Germany, and it looks like Avnobi has got up the inside of Adrian Dubrovka. A nice overtake up the inside, nice and clean. We'll have a shot at Casillas. Germany versus Germany, BMW versus Porsche. One's a former champion of IWGC, Casillas, and we have Avnobi, a tracc.eu veteran, an IWGC veteran, and it looks like DJ Overdrive is serving his stop go 30. It looks like Avnobi and Adrian Dubrovka are both pressuring Casillas. That is a very rare sight to see. Can the BMW defend himself from... Oh my god! It looks like iMetrix has came out of nowhere and he's going up the inside of Adrian Dubrovka. It is a rare... That is exciting to see. iMetrix has got the... has got some speed, and look, Ryuzaki has went up the inside of Panic Fungus. It is going down in the midfield. That is Ferrari versus BMW. The Ferrari looks like it can... Oh, there's some contact. That is Panic Fungus off into the wall. That is Ryuzaki perhaps losing a place to Flaky, which he just defends. Avnobi, who I'm led to believe uses Mars steering, is having a look around the outside of Casillas. It is... Oh my god, he's got the inside! That is a good clean overtake by Avnobi on Casillas. It is the second time in 2 laps he's done that. He is now up to 4th position, which is really good to see. Casillas looks like he's... must be damaged with the car, he's going very slow. Or perhaps he's sandbagging. Oh, Adrian Dubrovka is spun. Ryuzaki is also involved, and so is Flaky. Let's see what happened there to Adrian Dubrovka. Come through the last few corners, right on the bumper of Casillas. It is very tight in that section. Falling like a sass's line and gets a little bump from iMatrix, then another bump from Ryuzaki, and with a third hit from Flaky off track. It is upsetting to see, but Ryuzaki is... I think he spun it. He's sitting on the side of the track at turn 2, I believe. Albert Gerge currently with the fastest lap, a 1:46.1. Good to see the Honda is up there and fighting. Perhaps he is trying to get back from his, which I would say, his IVGC podium. He had the pace to perhaps win that race in Hungary. Perhaps he has the pace today to challenge Mark Kame, who is currently undefeated. 2.7 seconds by lost from about 5/10. Mark Kame now with the 1:46. That is Wikasas, as I was right, had damage and is now out of the pit in P13. Akito Asagawa, who started a bit later than everyone else, is now already made up a position on DJ Overdrive, both Lexuses. Currently last 2 positions, but as I said before, there is plenty of time to make up positions. Akito just running his own little race. A little bit wide, but he will keep going nice and clean. Dirty lap, but still on track and keeping it clean. Oh, that's a big slide by SKP in the Porsche, which gave Adrian Dubrovka a good chance to catch back up. Can he make a dive up the inside? It looks like he's attempting to, and he does. As Adrian Dubrovka up the inside. Bentley versus Porsche. Both motorsport legends in their rights. And it looks like the Bentley has made it by. Chamchilla looks like up the inside of iMatrix, but iMatrix is having a poke around the outside, and he's made it by. Can he keep it into the corner? Yes. Oh, nope. Oh, that's a small ding by Chamchilla into the back bumper of iMatrix, and both of did a small spin, which is what Flecky by on the inside. 2 positions in 1 corner. You'll love to see it. Chamchilla right on the rear bumper. Oh, and he's had a little bit of an off, which is let Matrix get a little bit further away. We were about a few times separating both of them. Panic Fungus in the pit. Ryuzaki is made back up a position from his small ding. Looks like Charles the 14th is fighting quite heavily again, well, defending against SKP, who is going up for the inside. Oh, looks like he walked up the brakes a little bit, but still got by Charles the 14th. Like it says, made up a position. Looks like somebody has left the race. I'm not sure who. Perhaps maybe a disconnection somewhere, but we just have to see. Chamchua is still trying to get by Matrix. Solid 6th position for Matrix. So in practice, but he's brought out the party mode in race 1. That's a really good exit out of the last corner by Chamchua, but he somehow gets a little bit out on the dirt. And this, he just has a gap. Very wide. Oh, it is Audi versus Porsche. Matrix just gets by on the outside. Oh, and he's given the inside to the next corner, which he keeps. And I'm being told that Panic Fungus has retired from the race. So there is no more pink Yandere Racing Ferrari. There is only one more Ferrari, which is being run by Towers the 14th. Oh, that is an off by Chamchua, whipping around the outside, but there is no space. They're already pretty much out, right, far out on the right, but that's just an off by Chamchua. Ryuzaki going up the inside of Towers the 14th. BMW versus Ferrari. Fanboy versus Fanboy. It is the BMW who gets by. It is not looking good for Towers the 14th. He's, every time we've switched him, he's been losing positions. Perhaps he is keeping his good energy for race 2. Chamchua is still trying to get by iMatrix. R8 versus 911. Both motorsport legends in their own regards. Can the timeless classic get by the Audi? You will have to see. But these next few laps will be pretty crucial for Chamchua. But he's a little bit of a side into the first corner, which has messed up his entry to the second corner, which is in turn made him a bit sore through turn 3. Looks like Ryuzaki is getting by on the outside of SKP, and he does. He makes a stick and goes. Ryuzaki is slowly picking off driver by driver, trying to get back those positions he's lost. Chamchua still fighting Matrix, and Dubrovka is slowly only 2 seconds behind, but he knows for a fact if Chamchua and Matrix keep fighting that he might be able to slip by on the inside just like Flaky did the last 2 corners. Matrix has got the inside to the first one, Chamchua's got the inside to the next one, and the Audi makes it stick around the outside. Great battling by these two. Hopefully this is just a showcase of what we have in store for next weekend at Catalonia as well for IVGTC. Adrian Dubrovka is now only 9/10 behind Chamchua, so Chamchua might be under attack as well. Chamchua looking around the outside, but a little bit too far back to make that move. Going a little bit wide in the corner exit, which is made Adrian Dubrovka have a little bit of a... well, close the gap a little bit. Chilla right on the rear bumper of the R8, but Adrian Dubrovka is right behind. It is a freeway battle for P6. Adrian Dubrovka in the Bentley with the biggest car, making it just smoothly through the last two corners like it is a piece of cake, but Ryuzaki has made up a good chunk of time. That is DJ Overdrive back in the pits again. Perhaps we'll have two battles going on in a little minute. Chilla is still heavily fighting Matrix, trying around the outside every attempt he gets. Matrix just trying to keep the inside, but Chilla's got around the outside. This time, will Matrix take a look up the inside? Yes, but he's not that close to make it stick. Adrian Dubrovka's right behind now. Can Dubrovka make it past Matrix? He's right there. He knows for a fact if Matrix breaks slightly too early, he might be able to get by. Ryuzaki's made a very good recovery and has made their way up. It looks like Adrian Dubrovka going up the inside trying to get nearly two cars at once, but his only got one. The big Bentley has made a hard move like that and just stick. Matrix is looking up the inside but doesn't go for it. Looks like Chilla has a very bad corner entry, and that's just a very bad corner by Dubrovka, which is going to let Ryuzaki and Matrix go on the inside. It is just by the skin of his hair, well, the skin of his teeth, I mean, to keep Ryuzaki at bay, but Matrix is by. Ryuzaki slightly outbreaking Dubrovka, which is let him by. All this time, Mark Kame has got is upped his lead up to 5 seconds over Alpgurgi. Chilla finally has got by Matrix. But does Matrix have another thing in store for him? Still around 13 minutes left of the race, which is plenty of time for any of these four drivers to make up that P6 position. It was like Ryuzaki going around the outside, attempting it, and makes it stick with Matrix. The BMW has got by the Audi, and will the Bentley perhaps take a nosy up the inside? And he does. He gets, even before the corner entry, gets by Matrix. Matrix was looking for perhaps the switchback, but just a bad corner entry. Matrix has lost 2 positions, sadly, in the last lap, but he might be able to challenge for that P6 if he does pick up his pace a little bit. And I'm led to believe that as Kito Asagawa is about to pass SKP, not for position, just to try and unlap himself a little bit. The speed of the Lexus is just mind-boggling down the straight. Porsche, past the Porsche like it's nothing. Ryuzaki passed Chamchua, but will Chamchua fight back? About half a second between the BMW and the Porsche, with the Brovka right behind, and Metrics back a little bit, but still behind. It's a bad corner by Chamchua, which is letting Ryuzaki increase his gap a little bit and make the Brovka close the gap between him and Chamchua. Fastest lap currently, as we see 11 minutes left to go, is a 146.045 by Mark Kane. His gap to P2 is 7 seconds. Looks like a bad corner by Chamchua. It is a hard-braking spot, I would say. He makes the second part of that corner fly by, but the Brovka has a better lead through the better exit through the corner. iMetrics has lost a bit of time. It is oh, the Bentley was looking up the inside, but he didn't make it stick, and he's going to try on the outside because Chamchua outbrakes himself. The Brovka in the giant Bentley has made it stick in the inside. You love to see it. But Chamchua is right behind, and it looks like iMetrics is still there as well, with Akito Asagawa looking to pass Metrics for a track position and to get his lap back, perhaps. Ryuzaki has increased his gap to the Brovka to run about nearly 4 seconds. The fighting really is not doing dividends to the Brovka. So Chamchua is always there. Any corner, he's just there and isn't making it that easy for the Brovka, but Adrian is keeping a cool head. iMetrics goes a little bit wide, which in turn lets Akito by just for the track position. RJ Kame, who's in the pits, what has happened to him? Nothing that we see. Chamchua has passed Adrian Dubrovka. Oh, Adrian Dubrovka has this bit of a spin, a bit of a moment, and it was like 3 wide. Perhaps 4 wide. Oh my, there's a bit of contact. Oh no, Chamchua is not going to like that at all. I have... looks like a little bit of a ding from Dubrovka. Looks like he's just losing it. And he lost a bit of grip and he's just lost 2 positions. And he's off again. That is one unhealthy looking Porsche. In the meanwhile, one of the other Porsches has made up a position. Back up to P9. And Avno B, who is now P3, who's in the podium positions. RJ came all the way back down to P7, despite his pit, is still looking very strong. Perhaps he'll get by Dubrovka, as Dubrovka might have some damage on the front, or perhaps the side at least. That is Chamchua off again. Or perhaps he's just going a little slow. Nope, he's went a bit off. The way his wing looks, it looks like he is a short track kind of car. RJ came by Adrian Dubrovka on 1 lap, old tires, perhaps quite cold as well. Shows the speed that the Lamborghini has. Mark Kame has lost 2 seconds to Albert Gergi, who's now only 5 seconds behind. You can see him just ahead. Perhaps Mark Kame had an off, which is what Albert Gergi get a bit back, and he's now, that gap is now down to 4.9 seconds. The Hungarian driver is, well, to not say a pun he asked me before stream to say, he is indeed working for that P1. Perhaps you could say he is hungry. The Hungarian is hungry for P1. I've said the pun once, so please don't grill me. Mark Kame is had it pretty easy this race. He's had mostly a 5-second gap to P2, and he's just been cruising away. It's like a leisurely drive for him. Meanwhile, down the field we have Adrian Dubrovka, who is currently the closest car on track for position. Chamchua is now in the pits, which is going to give Akita Sagawa some time, perhaps a lap or two, to get back up to Chamchua. Says by Chamchua. I feel like there is perhaps someone who's laughing because I made that very horrible pun, and I apologize to you, Albert. But shitty puns aside, we're seeing a strong showing from Albert Gergi, who's the last few races been pretty strong. Maybe he may be a title contender by the end of the season, or maybe he might even be the champion next season. Ooh. Akito is now up to P12 from Chamchua, who's, well, to say that the least, that Porsche looks like it belongs in a scrapyard. Matrix all the way back, he's down to 8th, but he's still made up 2 positions. Well, a few positions of this race. I've heard that he has some family watching him race today. So, still a strong performance in P8. Made up a few positions, ahead of a good few drivers on track. And I'm looking at the results, and currently I think DJ Overdrive, who's just forfeited this race, which is sad to see, but I understand why. Perhaps some technical difficulties. Albert Gergi now, the gap is now back up to 5.2 seconds. I don't know where Avno B is. He is a good bit behind Ryuzaki, who's in P5, from about 4 seconds behind Flaky, who I'm led to, if I remember correctly, used to drive the, I think it's the 570S McLaren that he drove at Alton Park. Him and Avno B both used to drive that car, and have both switched to greener pastures. Ryuzaki is now 3.7 seconds behind Flaky. He's hunting him down. It is America versus Malaysia. Battle of the German manufacturer versus the British manufacturer. Perhaps history will repeat itself, or perhaps we'll have a different outcome. Like I say, has passing Charles the 14th. We just missed that. It was like perhaps just up the inside, just a bare corner, exit through the last corner, and just sends it right. It's an easy pass for Casillas. Charles the 14th was another position.
Leader is on the final lap. Give it a final push.
One more lap for Mark Kane. 1 minute left to go in the race. As it stands, Mark Kane will be the winner. Albert Gergi P2 and Evno B in P3. Is Flaky looking in his rearview mirror and he'll see that pink BMW getting closer and closer. Will the femboy be able to overtake Ryan Cooper? Perhaps. Small cluster of cars. Looks like SKP is going to get passed by Mark Kane. He isn't that far behind Metrics for position. Blue flags, nice wet by. Ryuzaki was looking up the inside, but doesn't want to make it stick. Flaky keeping that outside. Looks like Ryuzaki is trying a look up the inside, but backs out of it. Makase is back up the P10, and Akito has, despite starting last, he has made up 3 positions this race. Markem has just crossed the line to finish. Avenue will be the next car to finish for the podium. Albert Gergi is just finished. Remember, half a lap left to go for Avenue B. If he keeps the clean, that'll be a podium in the back for him. Flaky has to defend for his life against Ryuzaki. This will be the last battle of the race for good points, perhaps. Both drivers doing a good exit through the corner. It's like Alexis is right behind. If I was personally, it was me, I would keep out of this battle for position. The Aston is just sticking ahead. The BMW still has a chance to get by. Will he go for a Hail Mary move, or will he just wait for it? Oh, adds a look at the inside. Flicky covering it off just the last second. Good thing no contact. And it looks like Flicky's just got that by a 10th. That is a very close finish for Flaky and Ryuzaki. RJ Cam just crossing the line. Aiden Dubrovka coming for the last corner to finish his last lap. And as it stands, Mark Kame is furthering his championship lead. Albert Gergi getting a solid P2, and Avenue B for his first podium in Track Open GT. I'm led to believe. I could be wrong with that. I may need to fact check. But it is first podium in the Porsche. Flaky in P4 in the Grip Runners Aston Martin, and Ryuzaki in with his VTuber Femboy BMW in P5. RJ Kane P6, Adrian Dubrovka P7, iMentrix P8, SKP P9, like it says P10. Tars the 14th P11, Akira Sasagawa P12, Shamchilla P13, DJ Overdrive P14, and Paddock Fungus in P15. I'll say that was a very interesting race in the mid-pack. The front was pretty standard by Mark Kame, just solid gang out there. Albert Gergi making a good drive to keeping that P2. Avno B starting at the back, he made his way all the way up to P3, which I would personally say is driver of the day for this race. But can he replicate it in the second race? Flaky and Ryuzaki right at the end, having a close battle for P4. Only 1/10 between them. RJ Kame, P6. So it is 1-0 to Mark Kame over the Kame brothers rivalry, perhaps. Can RJ level the playing field, or will Mark make it a 2-0 defeat? So your starting grid will be Mark Kame. Again. So it'll be Mark Kame with Albert Gergi on the front row. Ryuzaki and Wakaseas for a BMW walkout again, and P2 for the second row. RJ Kame and SKP for your third row. Flaky and a Ghost for the fourth row. Adrian Dubrovka and Charles the 14th in the fifth row. It'll be Cham Chill and DJ Overdrive for the sixth row. iMetrics and recent podium sitter Avno B for the seventh row, and starting last will be Akito Asakawa. The only reason we are having a Ghost instead of the field bunching up is I think the game is just being a little bit whacked today, but that is where Panic Fungus would be starting if he were racing this race. Drivers will be starting the formation lap. So, will it be another dominant win from Mark Kame? Or will it be perhaps a new winner? Which, if I'm led to believe correctly, is Mark Kame has won every race so far, which is like a McLaren 1988 F1 kind of season so far for him, winning everything there is to win. Albert Gergi, close, but will he perhaps get his first win in a tracc.eu event in the NSX? Ryuzaki in P3, which was a close finish between him and Flaky, but will perhaps he get a podium this time? Who knows? Like I say, as Season 5 champion of IVGTC, starting in P4 with the Liquid Moly BMW. RJ Kame, brother of Mark Kame, in the Lamborghini will be starting in 5th place. SKP in the blue and green Porsche 911 will be starting 6th. The South Korean driver will be hoping for a good performance this one after quite a quiet race last time. Flaky, the Malaysian driver, will be P7, perhaps looking for another close finish like last time. Agent of Brock in the Bentley the only Bentley in the field. And I think the only Bentley which has been run outside of... Actually, no, scrap that fact. It is not a... It is a Bentley was ran last weekend in IBDC. Towers the 14th, riding probably a little bit too close from Edmund Dubrovka in P9. DJ Overdrive starting P10 in the grip runners. Lexus, the king of the grip runners. Will he have the grip to outrun the field, or will he be sliding about like he's in a drift event? We'll have to wait and see. Chamchua is apparently now down to P11, which I'm led to believe is incorrect. iMetrics in the German in the Audi. Mr. Spinal, as you could perhaps call him, is hoping for a good result like last time. Avan B and Akito Sagawa will be lining up the field at the end, just both coming around the last corner, as we will be away racing in moments, which is now. Good start from Albert Gergi again, challenging perhaps from the outside. RJK made a really good start. Both BMWs making a pretty much identical start. Oh, and our Mark Kame had a little bit of an accident. Lucas up at the first, Albert Gergi P2, Ryuzaki P3, RGK P4, SKP P5, Adrian Dubrovka up. The times have updated, so Lucas is still in first. Albert Gergi P2, Ryuzaki P3, and Akito Sagawa in the Lexus P4, and RGK in P5. That is your top 5 at the moment. Very close between for P2. P1 is not even that far away. Albert Gergi just sticking there, and that is Ryuzaki went a bit squirrely, and he's with the Lexus of Akito Sagawa by. Flicky has a little bit of an off, which is what DJ Overdrive catch up. Big accident from Charles the 14th. Wonder what's happened to him. Oh, it's a bit of a tap from Mark Kane, but hopefully not too much damage. Like I say, your leader has another 1 second gap up to Albert Gergi. DJ Overdrive losing a few positions, and now down to P13, Mark Kane and iMetrics, I'm led to believe, both made up a position up on DJ. RD versus Aston, my apologies. Mark Kane, winner of the last race. Bad first corner on the first lap. Have a lot to make up, but he does have the pace to do it. Will he replicate it? There's a yellow flag from Chamchua, but I wonder what's happened to him. I think he's just lost it out on the inside curb. That's correct. Fastest lap currently by Albert Gergi, who is 6/10 behind Lacasse, would be the IBGC veteran versus the person who is scarily has about nearly the same stats as me for IVGTC before I retired. My non-VTuber counterpart, perhaps you could say. Albert Gergi, remember, 7/10 behind, but he's still in close striking distance. Keto has, remember, 2 seconds from him. iMetrics passed by Mark Kane. Uzaki, I think, has just been passed by RG Kane. Yeah, so a little damage or just a bad corner exit, which RG Kane has just had a bad corner exit, which will give the BMW a bit of a break. 3/10 separating. Should be last in hour. Mark came passed by Chamchua. The rain has started. The variable conditions have came into effect, and it'll be Aston versus Aston. Poor Casillas and Gergi will be wet. Albert Gergi already first into the pits, and so is Akito Sagawa, who's fallen right in behind. This is wet. RJ Kim and Ryuzaki both gained 2 positions, but they will both be out on the rain. Albert Gergi will be the first out of the pits if he has a good pit. Akito Sagawa in the pits. Chamchua in the pits. First 3 cars in for wets. Looks like DJ Overdrive also coming into the pits. Towers the 14th sticking out in the Ferrari. Perhaps he knows something we don't. Perhaps he's just having a bad day with the Ferrari pit strategy. But I will say it is a brave move sticking out on the slicks. That's already looks like a little bit of bad corner by Casillas, with Albert Gergi pitting gave him an 8-second lead over P2, but he'll probably be trying to go for a pit this time. Just a little too, he got caught out by the pits, and it looks like Towers the 14th is off. It's like just a bit of a wobble, which is just sent him out of it. Albert Gergi, first one out of the pits, is in P11 with Akito Sagawa right behind him. 7/10 behind. Both IGC veterans. Akito being a former champion in the tracc.eu system, with being the Super VT champion. Albert Gergi, who, if you want a fun fact about who made his IVGC/tracc.eu, well, first event was in race, was round 2, round 5, season 2 of IVGC at Hockenheim, which was coincidentally the same for me as well. Ryuzaki and Adrian Dubrovka both staying out in slicks, perhaps trying to build up a bit of a gap, going for a later pit. They try and build up a gap from the front runners who have already pitted. Albert Gergi and Akito will both regain the positions they lost. Looks like I said, is coming out of the pits. stop go 30 for Casillas, which will put him down the order a bit. And so is RG Came had an stop go 30. Avenue B and SKP P6 and 7 both having a clean pit stop. No stop go 30 for them. Like also having a clean pit, and perhaps Taro's the 14th who's still in the pits. Miyazaki going to the pits. Nar. Adrian Dubrovka. Bit of off by Casillas, who is sticking art. He has 3 laps to serve that stop go 30. That'll be 2 after he crosses the line. Dubrovka, Ryuzaki and Mark Kame all in the pits. Mark Kame serving his stop go 30. He's already got his wet tires. Ryuzaki coming out of the pits. He'll be first if he keeps it within 30 seconds. No, and that is Akira Asagawa and Albert Gergi by Albert Gergi, currently the leader. If he sticks within that 30-second threshold, Akira Asagawa keeping right by him, keeping him honest on the inside. Oh, and is he going to go for a dive up the inside? No, he fakes him out. Doesn't go for it. Only a second between them. RJ came in the pits serving his stop go 30, which is going to let a few people by. And you see DJ Overdrive who's just been, he just got by. Charles the 14th also passing one on. Like I says, oh, that's a bit slippy. Cold tires. Albert Gergi is still trying to fend from the waxes of Akira Sasagawa. I was talking with Akira recently and he said he doesn't feel that comfortable in the rainy conditions in the waxes. From personal experience, I will say the waxes is probably one of the safest cars in the rain. If we went back to a few seasons ago when we raced at Donington Park in the rain, the waxes was a very strong choice. Like I say, it's still Art. Will he serve his stop go 30? He must serve it this time or he's going to get disqualified. Ryuzaki is not that far behind, only 3 seconds behind Akira. That's a good battle for P2 at the moment, perhaps even P1. Mark came back in the pits. Looks like a bit of damage in the front from his early shunt in turn 1 on lap 1. iMetrics making a position of Mark Kame, who's currently in the pits, and I think so will DJ Overdrive, who's on the grass. I'm going to say that was probably a bad exit of the last corner. That Ori is going for style points. But all I will say is you might want to keep it on the asphalt if you want to go quick. Nice little 3-car train with Flaky in the lead. 4 tenths ahead of Dubrovka, who's been passed by as the game who's not updated yet, who has been passed by Sansoy and Hasari. That is Casillas in the pits serving his stop go 30. He's just going out to his pit box at the moment, which has given Albert Gergi the lead. Albert Gergi versus Akito Asagawa for the lead. Casillas will drop a little bit down the order, but if he's lucky, he will get Art. RJ Cam coming out of the pits, who's currently last. Both Cams are in 13th and 14th respectively. I will say this NSX delivery is very majestic, especially in the rain, and it goes like hell. As we're seeing Casillas lose another position on pit exit to iMetrics. As cold tires for Casillas. Now will he could either be ballsy and go for it on the cold tires, or will he be a bit smarter and give it a lap or two to hit the back up before he goes for any maneuvers? And that's DJ Overdrive got a yellow flag, perhaps just or break himself into the first corner. That's Albert Gergi still in the lead, increasing his gap to 3 seconds over Akira Asagawa. I will say for the IBGC regulars, this will be good practice for them for next weekend for racing here in the rain. It's a battle for 4th. I don't know why RJ Kane keeps going in the pits. Perhaps a lot of damage, or this is some interesting team strategies, but I don't understand why he keeps going in the pits. Agent Dubrovka is on the tail of Avenel B, who be looking to recreate what happened in race 1. Already up to P6. Casillas already overtaking DJ Overdrive, and he is only 3 tenths behind, but already 1 lap, and still perhaps cold tires is making a move on the RD. Casillas keeping it on the track and just sails by in the rainy conditions. Matthews outbraked himself and just pretty much handed Casillas that position. Mark Kane versus Charles the 14th, Ferrari versus Aston. Race 1 winner versus the fanboy. Can Charles hold off Mark? Bit of a wide entry midway through the corner, but brings it back. Up the inside, sails by, no problem. A little bit on the grass, a little bit of a bump, but he's by Charles, the 14th. Cars the 14th just off. What happened to him? Oh, just outbraked himself. And has reset the pits. I think he is forfeited the race. RG came, who's still in the pits. Perhaps a lot of damage or trying to make I don't know what kind of strategy this would be. Mark came P12. He's now hunting down DG Overdrive, who's just coming through the last corner. The field is a bit spread out now. Closest we've got at the moment is these two, Aston versus Porsche. See how close the Porsche is. It's just nipping at the heels. The Brovka versus Sensoy. Sensoy is ahead by around 9/10. The Bentley closed the gap with 14 minutes left to go. It is a Golf. It was like a Golf colored car versus the Shell Pennzoil car. Battle of the oil companies. The petroleum. It's like SKP has lost a little bit of time too. Flaky, but Flaky is by nice and easily. Like I say, it's always 6/10 or 6 seconds behind Champ Chilla, already on the recovery drive of the season. The Brovka keeping Sensoy honest. Bentley versus Porsche. Sports car versus the... Well, I think my other commentator, who I would normally be doing commentary with, would hate me for it if I said the Boltley. We have another person who's joined the race. Number 89, who's driving a Ferrari. M. Policki. In the Iron Lynx Ferrari. Lucas had an off. And is off. What happened? We won't see on Mantrix's. But we had an off from Lucas, who is also forfeited this race. Looks like Albert Gergi is controlling the race. He's upped his gap to Akira Suzugawa by 5 seconds. Ryuzaki is around 4.5 seconds away from Akito, which will make this a close battle. Still fighting for position is Sensoy and the Brovka. Bentley versus Porsche. Shell versus Golf, but sorta only. Gap from Akira and Ryuzaki is now up by 4 attempts. Akira is slowly trying to reel in Albert Gergi, but so is Ryuzaki, and it looks like Dubrovka's head went a bit wide, which has gave Sensei a bit of a lucky break. He's now only 2.6 seconds behind SKP in the upper Porsche. I think Akira had a bit of an off as Ryuzaki's only 3.6 seconds behind, and now Akira is nearly 7 seconds behind Albert Gergi. DJ Overdrive's had a bit of an off. What happened to him? Tight, twisty section. I think he just catches an inside curve, and I was correct. Tough day for DJ and Grip Runners. Alexis, who is currently mowing the lawn. That's not what a GT3 car is for, but an interesting way to use one. That is Pawicki art on track. I'd say a good bit darn, but well, he's still here. DJ is also retired from the race. Pawicki is slowly picking up positions. That's Matrix, who's right off next to Pawicki, who is now going like 10 kilometers an hour. Interesting. Sensei 1 second behind SKP, who is his teammate in IVGTC. Will the Porsche duo do it art, or will there be team orders? Who will be the front runner and who will be the back gunner? Mark came past iMetrics. A bit wide from Sensei, which will take a lunge up the inside on the wrong right-hander, and he's made it stick. iMetrics 6 tenths behind Mark King. Looks like a bit more in now. Mark King 25 seconds behind Chan Chill for his next position. Sensei is by SKP, and Dubrovka's having a look. About 7 minutes left of the race, left to go. Still plenty to play for everyone, except for maybe Pawicki. Bit wide by SKP, which is going to allow perhaps some draft to Dubrovka. Will Dubrovka make anything of the slipstream if he is getting any? No. SKP is fighting Sensor. It is Porsche versus Porsche. The 2019 model against the other 2019 car. Bit of a bad corner by SKP, which has gave Sensor a bit of a gap. Oh, and he's a bit off. Dubrovka must be just biting, and is through on the inside. Bentley through, nice and easy. And Sensor is off, so that is 2 positions and 2 corners for Dubrovka. Happy days. Sensor off. SKP also by Sensor, remaking up that position. By metrics 13 seconds behind Mark Kame. Porky now on the web, they're second web. They're slowly reeling in RJ Kame. There's only 5 laps between both drivers, but does he have enough time? I'm led to believe is no. Yellow flag from Policki, and he has had an off. What's happened to him? Just a trip to the outside. Eight-second gap from Akito and Albert. VTuber versus NSX. Hungary versus France. Porsche versus Porsche. It is Sensor versus SKP. It is bumper to bumper, rear wing to front splitter. Can Sensor make it by? So I can look at the inside. No. Oh, it does. Bit slow corner by SKP, which gave Evan a good run, but doesn't capitalize on it. Which is giving Adrian Dubrovka a bit of some breathing space, which is, I say that, and he's had a little bit of a spin there. Still saved it, but that means he's lost a lot of time to SKP and Sensor. Quickie yellow flag, Art braked himself into turn 1 and skirting him by. Quickie just sticking to the side of the track. Yellow flag in sector 1. He's still there. Mark came only 13 seconds behind Cham Cho, which I don't think he'll make up that time. A minute and a half left to go. That's Albert Gergi on the last lap. If he keeps it clean, he'll have a nice walk in the park win. Akito Rimmer 8 seconds behind, who will probably get P2 if he keeps it clean. From Rizaki, who is remembered 5 seconds behind. That would be perhaps your podium. Sensoi is close. iMetrics has had a bit of an off. What's happened to him? Clean corner 1. Bit of too much inside curb and a bit of the outside curb, which is sent him into the outside wall.
Okay, the leader is on the final lap now. Give it all you can.
Out Kirgi. Just cruising by. Or sailing by, you could perhaps say. Dubrovka is slowly getting away from SKP and Sensoi. "20 seconds left to go until the clock runs out. Everyone be on their final lap. Poliki's still at the first corner, which, if this race was steered, it would be pretty looked into for staying there for a good, easily over a lap. Albert Gergi coming for the last 2 corners will get his first win in the Tracc Open GT Cup and his first win in a tracc.eu sanctioned event in the
The
NSX.
leader has finished the race.
Akira Sagawa came for the last corner, and that'll be another podium for him. Another trophy in the cabinet, and that'll be first podium for a tracc.eu event for Ryuzaki. If I'm led to be, if I'm correct, if memory serves me right. Flaky, perhaps another P4, which is solid points from the Malaysian driver. Lots of points slowly trickling down the board for him. Dubrovka, which has now increased his gap to SKP to 2 seconds. It'll be interesting to see, will Sensoi do a bonsai sort of move into the last corner? I don't think so. He'll just have to wait and see if SKP has a bad corner exit. Will he? No. Chamcha versus Mark Kame. Will Mark Kame overcome the Porsche? Very sketchy on by Chamcha, and Mark Kame has overcame the Porsche and has got back to himself P7 in the last corner. RJ came in P10 in the pits, and Powicki sitting on the side of the track. Sitting still with his wipers on, burning away lots of fuel. Outgurgi doing his victory lap. Perhaps getting some shots for pictures. So as it stands, today's race, race 2, English is hard. Albert Gergi is your winner for race 2 of the tracc.eu Open Cup round 4 at Barcelona. Akira Sagawa P2 and Ryuzaki P3, Flaky P4, Dubrovka P5, SKP P6, Sensoi P7, Mark Kame P8, Chamchua P9, iMetrics P10. That is your top 10. DJ Overdrive P11, Wekaseas P12, Tars the 14th P13, RJ Kame P14, Mark Powicki P15, and Panic Fungus DNS, I mean, but P16. pretty clean race from all small bumps, course racing, a good snippet for next weekend. I have been your host, Jordan Brunch, aka Snow Brunch, and I would like to thank you all for watching today's race. I shall see you later.